Well, good morning, weirdos. Good morning, good morning. Sheesh. Watching some old guy brush a little bit of hair. Little bit of hair. Little bit. Well, how are y'all this morning? I require vast amounts of coffee. Well, I'm still walking a little wobbly here. A little wobbly. Wobbly. Okay. I'm here. I am here. Good morning. Buenos dedos. Chicos and chicas. Oh, Lord. Lort. I have the board. L-O-R-T. L-O-R-T. Okay, I apologize for my sniffles. It's morning sniffles. Here we go. First sip. Oh, yeah. A little strong this morning. Thank you, dear. See, I got to go work in a couple of hours. Oh, yeah. And, like, I totally do not want to, you know. Like, oh, my gosh. Well, ain't that there's something. What do y'all do when you're having trouble waking up in the morning? Besides, you know, coffee, energy drinks, that kind of stuff. Oh, because, like, you know, I just don't know, you know. It's like, whoa. It's like totally whoa. Totally. Toe-tapping. Totally. McNally. It's totally toe-tapping, totally McNally. Totally. What do I do in the mornings when I can't wake up? I usually go back to sleep. The unfortunate part of insomnia is you don't get to dictate when you sleep, when you wake up, when you go to bed, that kind of stuff. You can try to force it, but that's rarely going to work, right? Insomnia just says, hey, I'll let you know when you're going to sleep, mister. And it ain't going to be now. And that's usually the case. Over the last... I hear dogs. I better go check out the situation. All right, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I know, Sam. Come on up, Sam. Come on. Come on, buddy. I know. Back in bed. Back in bed. Get you over here with me. Well, this is Sam. There's Bessie over there. But this is Sam. Sam likes to come hang out with me in the mornings now. I used to leave a fan on in my room so they wouldn't hear me out here talking to myself. Of course, I turn the fan off now, and Sam hears me blah, 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 and he has to be in on it. He's such a chismoso. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. No, not a mushroom. A funny guy, not a fun guy. Yes, but you are a fun guy too. Oh, you're just a sweetie, Sam. Can I get a kiss? Dame beso? Dame beso? Dame beso? Thank you, Sam. Thank you. You're such a good boy, Sam. Back to bed. Back to bed. All right. Whew. Whoo-wee. Hi, buddy. You doing okay, buddy? Good morning, Sam. Good Morgan Samuel. You just need to go back to sleep, Sam. You just need to go back to sleep. Little lumpy guy. I know. Duérmete, muchacho. Muchachito. Well, I'm trying to stay on as long as possible every day to increase the amount of viewing time that I have on my channel. Now, I'm not saying that I'm just sitting here blah, 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 because it may seem like that, but that's not what this is about. This is about record keeping. This is about letting those things in me live on after I'm gone. That's kind of what this is about. For how long, I don't know. Where all of this is going to wind up when I'm gone, who knows? Is YouTube just going to go bankrupt, and everything in the servers is just going to go poof, and all of this will be for naught? I do not know. This YouTube social media, it is really just still a social experiment. It would be nice to know some statistics about how many people use YouTube as YouTubers and actually post regularly, and opposed to how many people just pop on, watch a video, and then pop off. That used to be me. I used to, for a decade, I would just pop in, watch a bunch of videos, and then pop out again. I had ideas of grandeur in my head about creating some, splendiferous channel and all these crazy videos. As it turns out, even just making a 10-minute video every day that is relevant is very difficult. I see this as an opportunity to kind of crack the egg, see what's going on the inside. I'm sure there are a lot out there who are going to watch this and go, oh my God, like, what is the point, If I got Groucho up here, where's Groucho? Groucho is a little bit crooked here. Groucho's a little bit crooked. Looks like I bumped Groucho here. Groucho, fix yourself. Fix yourself. Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, this is just my little part of immortality here. As long as that's going to last, I don't know. I just don't know, you know. I mean, what happens to all of these videos, right? How do they store, catalog all these videos digitally, right? I mean, where do they all go? And is there some giant server somewhere, right? Or multiple servers all over the planet? I mean, somebody get on here and explain to me how YouTube is working, all right? What does it mean? What is it all about? I can't really fathom it, you know? I mean, my old school brain sees rooms with stacks of videotapes, you know? And that's just not the way it is. Now it's bits of memory with stacks of bits of memory. I mean, it's ones and zeros. I don't even understand. It's like my daughter not understanding how the needles on record players can play music from the grooves on a record, right? It's like her trying to understand that is me trying to understand digital reality. Because I don't. And I don't claim to even begin to understand how all of this functions, right? I mean, you take these digital files and you compress them down and jam them into other bits of memory, and then how is it interpreted? I mean, it's like, I know, to the modern layman, I sound like a caveman. Hit club. I just don't get it. I don't like understand it. Okay, and so like this is gonna help me to understand. Okay, I have understanding in my heart, you know, and like, you know, that's totally awesome, but it's totally like, wow, you know. I used to just sit here in the mornings and talk to myself, talk to a dog if there was a dog available. Sit and, you know, vegetate on music or a movie or something. I've been doing a little bit of reading lately, but I won't get you involved in that until I'm about finished with the book. But it's a great one. It's great. Great. It's totally great. It's totally great. It's hard to put together enough time at the end of the night to want to read. Lately, I've been getting into bed late, which means getting into bed about 9 or 10 and getting to sleep about 11 or 12. And for a guy with insomnia, that's pretty manageable. For a guy with insomnia who gets up at 4:30 or 4:20 every morning, the insomnia is a little harder to deal with. You know, I'm only going to get my 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, but then, well, sometimes I might just turn you all off and go right back to sleep. It might be that way this morning since I've got to go to work in a few hours. I just might do that. So, well, thank you very much. So my plan last night was to watch Barbarossa or The Red-Headed Stranger, both with Willie Nelson. I did not. I watched a little TV with my wife and played a little bit of that Sims game again. What a ridiculous game that is. Sitting for hours telling someone to go to the bathroom and to eat. It is a ridiculous game. It is slightly addictive, as are most video games. It's the way they're designed. But like, you know, you got this this video game thing going on. And what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? Well, I've been trying to avoid slipping into depression again. So I've been kind of avoiding creativity, because creativity just makes me depressed worse when I can't get it together. And my imagination station just doesn't function. But yeah, I did not get a chance to watch that. What I did watch Sunday was the last half of the movie The Chase, right? This with Marlon Brando, Robert Redford, Jane Fonda, Angie Dickinson, Robert Duvall, and just a host of other people. About a criminal who escapes prison, and the town is kind of going crazy over this. That's a crazy town, just filled with a bunch of drunk, rowdy, fucking people. Must be Texas or something. Don't shoot the messenger. So The Chase with Marlon Brando. No, Marlon Brando is one weird dude. He was a kook. I enjoyed his stuff, but he was a nut. The movie Chase is no exception to his madness. He was a, what do you call him? A method actor. And which to me, it means finding a piece of reality to base your character in and then just beating the hell out of it. And he did that with this sheriff character.
Bubber, come on, Bubber. I'm going to take you back to jail, Bubber.
Everybody else in the movie called this Robert Redford character Bubba, except for Marlon Brando, who referred to him
as Bubber. And he had this great voice, Bubber.
Kind of a Festus type of voice. And man, was it annoying. I mean, how do you go through 2 hours of a movie listening to not Robert Redford, but Marlon Brando
talk like this? Come on, Mother. We're going to get you back to jail. We're going to get you there safe.
Pardon me. Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get the whole Marlon Brando character, the voice. No, I just didn't get it. I just did not get it. The movie was good. Everything about the movie was really good. The Chase, Marlon Brando. Now, that's not to be confused with The Chase with Charlie Sheen. And who was next to Brinkley? No. That other broad. That other one. Yeah. Or it doesn't. It's not. Doesn't have anything to do with the novel. by, I want to say Clive Cussler, The Chase, which was a good detective novel back in the early days of Pinkerton and Railroad and that kind of stuff.
But I digress there, Bubber. Bubber, come on, Bubber.
Now, my intention was to, at some point this week, watch the Willie Nelson stuff. We're going to have to postpone that until next week unless y'all want to chime in.
But,
yeah. I used to do a lot of TV, movies and whatnot. I don't so much anymore. I just don't find the time. Yeah, time is a rough thing. Now, what I did do last night was dig up a couple of more songs. I dug up 3 more songs here, and wrote out the words and all the lyrics and the chords for the songs. I think I'm up over 30 now. Songs in my little list of songs here to fool around with. I don't want to shoot my wad all at once, so things are kind of happening slow here. Every once in a while, I'll post a music video. I don't get a whole lot of time to sit and play and learn a new song. But when I do, I really get excited about finding that piece of the song that I can hold on to and put myself into. Because, cover songs are kind of a weird thing. You either have to nail it just like the original artist, or you have to give it a lot of yourself and put yourself into it and make it yours. I've been able to kind of do that with a couple of songs. Take those covers and turn them into something that's more me than the original artist. That's All Right by Arthur Crudup, originally made famous by Elvis Presley. That's one of my favorite covers that I've been able to kind of work it around to me. I think the version that I have on YouTube now isn't as great as some of the versions that I've done just sitting here, but I can't always have that camera rolling when I'm just fiddling around. So, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I think the version of Lucille that I've posted recently, to me, that one makes me feel good. It's one of the only songs that I've ever recorded that I can sit and listen to and enjoy, is Lucille. And that's hard to say coming from severe depressed personality such as myself. Being able to listen to something that I recorded over and over and over again and not feeling, oh my God, I'm sick of listening to my own voice. Because mostly I cannot stand to hear my own voice. I rarely will go back and watch any of these particular live videos. Because I don't want to go back and listen to myself. Blah, 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 blah. That's what it sounds like to me anyway. I'm hoping that my words don't come off as just, a sheer attack of boredom. Okay, going in. First BH of the day here. Well, Debbie, thank you for liking my reel on Facebook. Debbie is the class of 1971, so she can look at my blast to the past here and get it. Let her know that I'm live right now. Let's see. We'll do that and see what Debbie has to say. Yeah, totally. You know, because like, wow. Let's see. I'll just post my link there. There you go. Hey, totally. Stop by, Debbie. Introduce yourself. Say hi. I'll put you on the list for a drawing. So yeah, I've enlisted my daughter's artistic abilities. She hides them very well because of her schoolwork. She doesn't have the time to express herself through art, whether it be drawing or playing music or what have you. But she's an excellent artist in her own right, with no formal training. And I've enlisted her help a couple of times to help me draw characters for my stories. And we've yet to create my old guy character. So we're going to be doing that this week, hopefully, and get my caricature drawn out so that I could use that in my follies here. And just to let you know, I'm not doing this as a career. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this for fame and fortune and all that crap. My goal here is to get everything that's in here, or as much as possible, out here. That's it. That's my goal. I don't want to just start, adding files. Here today we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to tell you this and this. I want to let it kind of happen organically. That's the way my head works. That's the way most people function, organically. So that's how I want the stories to come about throughout my days. I get the stimuli that prompts me to think about things, that takes me to a memory and a story. So I just want to let it happen like that. And if you watch this before I get in contact with David, your jacket's done. My wife finished your sleeves. She hasn't worked on your pants yet, so we need you to come by with some clean underwear on so you can try the pants off and on, off and on, off and on while she pins them up and gets them stitched up for you. So yeah, I'll try to shoot you a message. I hate to bug you because you're always working. You're a busy guy and you're younger, and you got more going on. I got nil. I got this. My dog's starting to snore here. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, what do you guys do to wake up in the morning? Cold shower, water in the face, coffee, tea, energy drinks, line of cocaine. What? Talk to me. Talk to me. I wanna know. Yeah, I mean, I've always been pretty much, back to that word again, an organic guy. Waking up in the mornings. My stimulus of choice has always been marijuana. Yeah. I mean, I'm an insomniac, right? Smoking marijuana, you'd think, oh man, that's going to help, and he's going to sleep really. No, it doesn't always work that way. Usually, if it's late at night and I'm getting high and it's tight and everybody else is starting to fade, well, I'm starting to get wired. And maybe it was, it's brain chemistry or something that uses the effects of marijuana differently in my head than others. I don't know, man. I just know that without good old little Miss Mary Jane here, from a young age, I would have been completely miserable had it not been for Mary Jane. Completely. Yeah. Because I was, with Mary in my life, I've always been, just kind of partially depressed. Without her in my life, I'm a wreck. I'm a nutcase. I can function. I can do all of those things that life and society require of me, but I'm just a drone, right? I have no will or want for any happiness at all. I just wake up in the mornings and want the day to be over as quick as possible, which sometimes means waking up, functioning for a good couple of hours, and then just calling it quits and going back to sleep. I've held jobs before on a lesser marijuana schedule or a no marijuana schedule, and I'm not me. I'm some guy where I literally will be looking over my shoulder thinking, I'm not this guy, this guy's not me, I hate this guy sucks, I hate the way this guy looks, I hate the way this guy dresses, I hate the way he acts, I hate his job, I hate everything about this guy, right? And then add Mary Jane into this, and I'm back to going, this guy's not so bad. I mean, he's got it rough, right? He's got to deal with shit that he don't want to fucking deal with, but he's doing it, and it's a whole different mindset. And basically in a nutshell, that's it. She has allowed me to function in society, as well as allowed me to take back that which is mine, my life, my existence, my time, my moment to moment. My moment to moment isn't wrapped up with despair and overwhelming darkness, right? And you only know what I'm talking about if you're there, if you've been there, if you know what depression is, if you've felt it. And it's not like, oh, I'm sad today, you know. It's not like, you know, oh, my feelings have been hurt, boo-hoo me. It's not like that. It can be that. It can be some of that. It can be little bits and pieces, but that's not it, you know. It's starting to get a little cool. Now, depression is a state of mind, state of being. It's a world unto itself. It's a place where a black hole sucks you in, and no matter what you do, you cannot get out. It just keeps pulling you and pulling you and pulling you and pulling you, you know. And you're screaming at people, help me, throw me a line, tell me something, help me. And they just see you as freaking out. You know, my God, what the hell's wrong with this dude? You know, and they don't get it. You know, I can look into people's eyes and know that they suffer from depression like that. And other people look into my eyes, and unless they suffer from depression, they look into my eyes and they see a happy, shiny, bright, fluffy, warm, cozy person. And it's not like that. But that's what we depressed people are able to do, and able to function that way, is just hide. We hide in plain sight. We're right there. You know, everybody thinks everything is perfect. You got such a perfect, great life and family. Everything's peachy keen. And yeah, we know that. But we're like looking at it from across a chasm, you know, and the bridge is out. And we're trying to get to where we know we can feel good, right? And we just can't, because there's this huge giant void of darkness between, you know, us and good and happy time feeling. You know, it's just it's hard to explain unless you understand, unless you know. You know? Yeah. Oh. Well, it doesn't happen too often, but my daughter, I will occasionally have a friend over to hang out or stay the night or something, or we'll get a vacation rental for a few nights or a weekend or something, for her to invite a friend or two over and hang out and have some quality, you know, socializing time. And her friend Deja came over the other day, and she doesn't come over enough. She's a great kid. Kid, like, what are they, 19, 20 years old or something. But yeah, good people. My daughter is really, really decent judge of character. And I hope that has something to do with her crazy father always making her question what the hell's going on. Because, you know, gullibility is one thing that if you can take away from somebody, it changes their whole outlook on life. You know, they may not understand what's going on, but you're not going to talk them into something stupid, right? Yeah, my daughter's got a good head on her shoulders. So yeah, depression. I mean, where do you go? Where you go, you're just in like a dark room, right? You don't go anywhere, so you just say, "Fuck it." Now, like I've mentioned before, I spent a good 8 to 10 years or something on antidepressants and antacids, and you know, a sundry of pharmaceuticals to help me function like a good little boy in society. And, you know, I missed too much. I missed way too much. Once my daughter was born, and it was like a few years into my daughter, it's like, you know, you have to keep smacking yourself when you're driving and you're falling asleep, and you got to get out and run around the car and smack yourself so that you can wake up. Well, it's like that when you're on antidepressants. You have to keep trying to do things to make you feel, because the antidepressants flatten your emotions. There's no highs, there's no lows, there's no happy, there's no, I mean, everybody else around you is just big, deep belly laughs, and you're like, ha ha ha, right? Because it emotionally disconnects you from your own life. And I could not take that any longer. I couldn't take that emotional disconnect. You know, I'd rather feel sad than to not feel happy. You know what I'm saying? Did that sound right? I'll take the sadness just so I can keep the happiness. Even if this happiness only comes 1 in 100, right? Sadness 99, happiness 1. You know, I'll take it, because you can't enjoy that 1. You know, you just can't. When everything is just flat, there's no emotion at all. Pardon my sniffles. So I just cold turkeyed myself off of like the worst antidepressants. And they were hard to get, right? Because I had to keep going in and visits and prescriptions and visits and prescriptions. And it was just, it was taking its toll on me. And I just decided, you know what? Every time I would get low, I would have to start halving my doses and stretching them out until I was going to get my prescription refilled. And I would go through hell if I had to half my prescription, half my dosage, or not take anything at all. It was driving me nuts. It was an emotional fucking roller coaster. You know, it's like you don't feel happy, you don't feel sad, you don't feel anything. And then the pills are gone and all you feel is anger, right? And I could not deal with that. I could not take my family on that fucking roller coaster any longer, right? And it took me like a decade to not to wean myself, but to go cold turkey. It took me a decade to go from stopping the pills to feeling like I wasn't going to explode, you know, to feeling like I was actually going to enjoy something, you know. There was a lot of sadness and depression involved for that 10 years or more. But along with, you know, quitting all of my other vices, letting marijuana to kind of take a hold, microdosing for several months on mushrooms, and readjusting my brain chemistry. I mean, these are all things that I did for me to help me that actually worked. Whereas all of the stuff that I was going to the doctors for that they were doing for me wasn't doing shit. It was just, you know, turning me into everybody else. And we're not the same at all. You know, I'm not like everybody else, and you're not like everybody else, and he and she is not like everybody else. We're all different. That's what makes us the same. It's the fact that we're all different. So, yeah, I just had to give it up. I just gave it up. And after I gave it up, it was probably about 4 or 5 years, 4 years, that I gave up cigarettes. And then, I mean, I pretty much didn't do, you know, I didn't do anything other than cigarettes and a little booze, like beer, the occasional bottle of Jägermeister to quell my anxiety and insomnia. And then cigarettes and alcohol took over because there was a period of my life where I just, you know, I didn't want to continue smoking marijuana. I couldn't get it. So it was, you know, to get it and then have it and then to not have it and then to have it and then not have it and have it. It was like just worse than the depression and the antidepressants, right? So I just tried to, you know, go what everybody else was doing, you know, smoke cigarettes and drink yourself to a fucking stupor and go to sleep. And that's how I was living my life for a couple of years. And that didn't work. Of course not. Why would it work? I was just not able to function that way. And then after I got injured at work, and spent, you know, almost a couple of years on pills, more pills. Fucking pain pills will kill you. And then I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. And I went cold turkey from the pain pills, depression and everything. I just went cold turkey from everything. Fuck it. You know, but I had pain, chronic fucking back and neck pain, and severe depression. And now I'm on nothing. I got nothing going on, nothing going through my blood. So I decided, okay, well, I'm just gonna let kind of let myself go back to good old Mary Jane. And living out near Palm Springs, it was real easy to go down, see a doctor, get a medical card, and go to a dispensary and get some pain medication, some good old Mary Jane pain medication. And so I did that. I did that for a couple of years. And before that, after the pain pills and before the dispensaries, I was taking long drives out of this area because I didn't know anybody. I still don't really know anybody out here, but I was taking long 2-hour drives one way to get the biggest bag of weed that I could get, which was usually no more than an ounce. And it wasn't great. It wasn't great stuff at all. It was like brown dirt weed, right? It was just horrible shit. And it got to the point where I would drive 2 hours to get a bag of horrible shit. And I was just over it. You know, I had spent enough time in my life searching. I've been searching, you know, that I literally killed the searching and the waiting and the money. I could have gotten myself a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, right? But then I would have been playing everybody else's game once again. Yeah. So yeah, I went cold turkey on everything, and then started going to the dispensary, the pot shop. But at that time, it was not legal for recreation. But it was very easy to go. I took my stack of medical records with me, and to see the doctor to get my medical card. They didn't want to see any of that. Literally, I walked in, I filled out a small 1-page questionnaire, waited 2 minutes, went and sat down at a computer monitor and had a one-to-one conversation with a doctor in another place. Looked like he was wearing pajamas, right? And he asked me a couple of questions. That was pretty much it. He asked me a couple of questions, and then I passed him over to the attendant that was working with me. That guy filled out some paperwork and handed it to me, and within like 15 minutes, I had my medical marijuana card. Had I known it was that easy, I would have done it a decade earlier. Yeah. So now I'm on still on medical leave. I'm still on workers' comp, and I'm still going to doctor's visits, and I'm still going to these physical therapy things, right? When I get my medical card, and this is like, I'm going to say 2012, 2013, right around the 2013 New Year's is when stopped smoking cigarettes. And that was right about the time that I got my dispensary card. So it's about 2013. So it was about 11 years ago. And so, I mean, like I said, at the time I wasn't able to work, and nor could I work because I was collecting workman's comp and I had an insurance thing and lawyers and doctors and all this crap going on. And it's not what I wanted when I started that job down in Palm Springs. I wanted a career. I wanted a job that would last me 20 years. Like the guy who was there, who I was going to be replacing, right? I wanted to be that guy. And damn it, if that guy didn't, of course, get cancer and his life got screwed up. And I could have stepped into his shoes at some point. Being the best man for the job, I wanted to. Some other schmucks probably got the job now. But yeah, that was when I started and then of course, just recently, it went to recreational marijuana was legal. And I just gave up on the medical card, even though it was tax-free, right? It would make my medication tax-free. I just hated the hassle of all the paperwork. Every time I'd go in, there was always paperwork. And I kept seeing all of the recreational buyers would just go in and get their shit and go out. And I would have to sit down, fill out forms, show my card, do all of this. And it just became a drag. So I just, I'm just not going to get a card this year. And I'm just going to just check it out. And that's how it's been ever since, And now I don't even have to go to the damn dispensaries. My pot shop of choice, Green Pearl Organics in Desert Hot Springs, give them a try. They're awesome. They deliver. And they will make deliveries 2 or 3 times a day, depending on their schedule. That deserves a hit. But yeah, I have one main delivery place and a backup delivery place in case something happens and they're out or gone or closed or whatever. And then I've got my my brands of marijuana that I trust. I don't get anything too expensive, but I don't get the bottom of the barrel. I pretty much stay the same budget that I was at 40 years ago when I was 15 or 16, when I was out, a little punk out looking for a sack of weed. I'd spend $15 on an eighth, $25 on a quarter. And that's about how much I spend now. I spend about $40 for a half, $40 to $50 for a half. And it's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, it's pretty good stuff. Of course, that being said, I'm probably going to die horribly of cancer from all of the crap that's in the act of burning organic materials and then inhaling it into your lungs. I don't see it as being worse than cigarettes. I think cigarettes, you know what? It's like everybody's different, right? For some people, they can smoke cigarettes 2 packs a day for their whole life since they were little kids and suck down bottles of booze, right? And lived into their 90s, right? Just pickled, but in their 90s, right? And then there are those of us who try to do that. And, before 50, our liver is rotted away and we're coughing up blood, right? So it really, it has to do with genes, right? And environment, um, uh, and the carcinogens, the stuff that's in these things. I mean, sometimes it's really, really bad, and sometimes it's like, it's mildly harmful, you know. Um, I think nowadays, with all of the fertilizers and stuff that they use in growing the strains of marijuana that they have now, I think that um, probably has a lot to do with uh, the harshness of the physical effects, all right, on your body. Now, a lot of people who smoke marijuana like to smoke it with tobacco, like a blunt or something. You know, I've done that, and I can do that, and on occasion, it's kind of novel, but I can't do that all the time. I'm not a cigarette smoker. I'm not a tobacco smoker anymore, so I don't really get a kick out of the whole tobacco end of it. Like I said, it's a novelty. You know, once every couple of years, you know, I'll be in a Snoop Dogg mood and want to hit a bunch of blunts at a concert or something. That's cool, but it's not an everyday thing for me. I'm not going to go out every day and open up a Swisher Sweet and make myself a blunt. No, I'm an introvert, you know, and I'm one of those guys that is kind of a solo act. I am a social person, but I spend most days by myself. Um, and because for the most part, the smoking of the marijuana is a pain management deal. Um, I'm not sitting here getting high like I am now. And, you know, for me, this is a social act, sitting here getting high, relieving my pain, but at the same time having conversation. So there's the whole socializing aspect of some weed. Um, when I'm, you know, out and about, um, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm smoking a couple of hits here and there on the cuff, on the sly. So, you know, I'm not trying to offend anyone or involve anyone, because once again, for the most part, smoking marijuana is just about pain management at this point in my life. Um, I don't do a lot of socializing, and I don't do a lot of socializing with people who smoke marijuana anymore. Whereas when I was, you know, 40 years ago, everybody I came in contact with was an opportunity to socialize through marijuana. I mean, literally, even when I was at home, my parents around, or my brother, or his friends. I mean, it was always, that's what it was all about. Um, I mean, for decades in my life, smoking marijuana was a social act more than something that I was doing for myself, right? When I was, you know, in the late 70s, I started to recognize in me um, the need for it in order to keep myself in the mix, to keep up with society and keep up with my friends and stay in the world. You know, I started to recognize that, hey, this, you know, this helps me to get along. This helps, you know, keep me out of that dark place. Um, but at the same time, you know, things things in the world change, and you can't always get, you know, that get to that place you want to be. Hey, Mike in the garage, good morning. Thanks for stopping by. I'm just sitting here blah 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 to myself about the good old days, being a teenager smoking weed, and trying to avoid suffering with lifelong depression. But yeah, Um, After I started doing the dispensaries for recreational stuff, yeah, can't we all relate? But after I started doing weed for the recreational stuff, um, it was easier to get, and it was easier to avoid depression. Um, Having now been off of antidepressants for well over 15 years, uh, I feel like I'm not a survivor of depression so much that it's more like I'm a survivor of antidepressants, right? Because that's the real killer right there. It just flattens you out, and you don't know anything. You don't care about anything. You have no emotions, uh, and you just kind of let the world step all over you. And that's the way I felt when I was on antidepressants. I mean, God, they had me on fucking all kinds of stupid things. Prozac and Zoloft and fluoxetine. I mean, all kinds of shit that I can't even remember. I can't even pronounce. Uh, and and then the antacids for the anxiety and the stress. And it was like, you know what? This shit's gonna kill me quicker than depression. So I left all that shit behind. And when I went back to smoking marijuana, and then got the dispensary and the recreational stuff, and I started to remember what it was like back in the back at 19, when I realized that that marijuana helped me to fit in and function and to stay in the world, and so yeah, for the last 10 years or so, I've just been happy as a freaking, a newborn baby. Every day is an adventure now. Every day is not a dark place, and that's freaking awesome. Having light on the horizon instead of darkness, right? Uh, I'm sure my daughter can see the change in me, as well as doing this video project, this video log, if you will, 4 days a week. I think there is a big, huge change in me. I feel more alive, more creative. The only dark place I'm in now is when I close my eyes and go to sleep. And that's like a huge, huge change from where I've been most of my life. And I can't say enough about how my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter, has helped me not only navigate this new weird world that old reverse Van Winkle has woken up to, but the fact that she's taken to me to so many concerts and gotten me out of the house so many times in the last year and a half. In November of 20, Harry Styles at the Forum. And I wanted to go, but it was all that COVID bullshit, and I couldn't get my negative test returned soon enough and see Harry Styles. So the following year, the tour was still continuing. Go to this one. And Harry Styles was doing a 15-show residency in my heyday, going to concerts, the LA Forum in Inglewood. So that was the beginning for me, was 2022 in November, when she took me to see Harry Styles Love on Tour for the Harry's House LP. I've got it here somewhere in my pile of records. Um, and that woke me up, shook me, and said, "Hey, remember you're alive. Remember you love music," because I had given up on music, decades ago. And then within 2 weeks after Harry, we went and she took me back to the Forum to see the 1975. Oh, what a great freaking act, the 1975. 1975 at their best, right? Oh, back to Harry Styles. And some guy that I had never heard of was going to be opening for Harry Styles, a guy named Ben Harper. Never heard of him before, and I went out of my way not to listen to anything by him. And then a week before the show, I finally got one of his CDs, and listened to it, not knowing anything about the guy, and just fell in love with the CD. Of course, when I went to the concert, he was a last-minute addition, and he didn't have a big band with him. It was just him on stage. And then during the act, he would bring up people, I guess, from the area, because he lives right in that area. He's got his family owns a music store in Crenshaw, I believe. So he gets up there and he doesn't play anything that I'm familiar with, right? Not one thing. But everything that he does is just phenomenal. And his thing is he's a blues slide lap steel guitar player, right? As well as a phenomenal overall musician. So all of a sudden I'm just in love with music again. And then I go to see the 1975 a couple of weeks later, and the Black Star Kids, a YouTube group, opens for them. And they're these 4 rowdy little teenage punk kids that are just beating the hell out of their instruments and just having a ball. They got everybody so freaking pumped up. I still haven't been able to get one of their albums. But, my stomach. But just awesome act. 45 minutes of sheer teen angst. I mean, it was just awesome. And then, God, we went to so many concerts after that. We saw Lucas Nelson and The Promise of the Real, right? And that was right up here in my home freaking town, right up here in Pioneer Town at Pappy and Harriet's bar, right? A few hundred people jammed into their yard for Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real. I was so close. I was right on the rail. I mean, I could have reached out and touched these guys, right? I wore a Willie Nelson shirt with him smoking a joint and got the nod from Lucas. And it was touching. It was awesome. We went and saw Harry Styles again locally at the Acrisure Arena down here in the Palm Springs area, right, on his birthday, no less. He had never done a birthday show before, so it was a first for everyone. It was awesome. It was just freaking awesome. Thanks for stopping by, Mike. But yeah, I mean, just concert after concert after concert. And then, of course, sometimes I would take her and her friends, and drop them off, and then just go find something to do, during those shows where it's like, it's not my bag, baby. The last show that we went to was at the Honda Center. We saw 1975 at the Hollywood Bowl with an act, a girl. I can't remember her name. It was a play on words. It won't come to me. But then we saw the 1975 again for the third time at the Honda Center just recently, as well as a bunch of other acts. And finally, I got to see Fall Out Boy, and that was pretty cool. Yeah. So, thank you to my daughter for helping me avoid depression, staying out of that dark place, making me think about music again. I have never
played the guitar and sang so much in my entire life as I have in the last 6-8 months, right? For me, my guitar has always been one of those things where on occasion, a few times a year, I will pick it up and I will strum a couple of chords that I know, or I'll sing a song that I wrote when I was a kid. And that was it. That was the extent of my music creativity. That was all. You know, it was just a passing fancy once in a while. And thanks to my daughter, I mean, I think about my guitar and music and songs and chords and stuff every day. And you know, it's almost every day now that I pick up my guitar and play it for at least a few minutes to an hour, and try to keep my fingertips, you know, working properly. Arthritis is the biggest bummer, because arthritis runs in my mother's side of the family, and on occasion my hands will literally just literally just fold up into you know, a lobster claw, and I can't do anything with them. A few weeks ago I played, I was on a video conference with my brother, and I played like 12 songs in a row, right? And I don't ever do that. I mean, I never play that much all at once. And I played like 12 songs in a row, you know, over a couple of hour period. It's just hanging out with my brother. And my hands, toward the end of it, my hands started to cramp up. And I would have to flatten my palms out, you know, to try to avoid my fingers from locking up. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer, because there are some times when I just want to play and play and play and play and play until I get a song right, but I can't. It's either my fingertips give up or my hands just go wonky on me. And I'm not a guitar player and I'm not a singer, so I can't just sit here and you know, and just practice this ooh ah ooh ah, because I'm you know, I can't hold a note unless I've got the guitar with me. I can't stay on tempo or on beat unless I've got the guitar with me, and even then, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, I gotta warm this coffee up again. Okay, I'm going. All right, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Right back. Okay. Ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah. Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds seem so gay? Something yesterday. Shut up. Why do they fall in love? Ah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, man, it takes my lava lamp forever to wake up. Yeah. So my daughter just lined up another concert for November. Los Tigres del Norte. My wife's favorite group. And it's just right down here at the Acrisure Arena, the hockey arena. What the hell's the name of the hockey team down? The Firebirds or something? But yeah, it's a great little venue. It's like 11,000 something total capacity. They're only going to use half of the arena. So we should be, pretty close. And when we saw Harry Styles there for his birthday, I mean, it was really, really close. It was awesome. And we were up, so that should be neat. And then before that, in October, she's got she's doing a day of one of those festivals up in Vegas. And then I think she's got something in July and something in March, something in April. In February, we're going out here to the pioneer town at Pappy and Harriet's, and we're going to see the guitar player for Harry Styles. He's doing a solo gig for his album release. So yeah, it's like music. I've had more music in the last year and a half, 2 years in my life than I had, 15 years of my youth. I mean, literally, there were or 15 years of my adult life where there was like almost no music at all, right? I mean, it seemed to come in short spurts at the end of long waves. Long wave of nothing, and then I'd get a concert, maybe another concert, and there's a long wave of nothing. And now it's like, 6, maybe 8 concerts in 1 year. Last year was like huge, just the amount of shows that my daughter has gone to in the last 18 months. Well, since let's say this, the second time she saw Harry Styles. I mean, that was, I can't even add them up in my head because I can't remember everything. I can't remember all the shows that she's seen. There's been so many, and good on her. She's rewarding herself for, 12 years of grade school and being successful in college, right? I mean, she's graduating from this spring, this summer, and with the transfer to the university. And it really almost brings me to tears every time I think about it. That she's got that strong of character to just bang it out every day, every semester, every year. She just keeps banging it out, Cheers, Natalie. I don't know exactly where this will lead you. I just know that it's a pretty good chance it's going to lead you up to a better place. The more you stay with it, we've always encouraged you to just do your best, stay with it, and do your best, right? And you've proven that you can do that 100-fold. I mean, it's. Do I have a dog trying to get out? I better check to see if I have a dog trying to get out. Ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah. You know you are an ooh ah. Right? What movie? You don't remember, do you? Oh, here comes that light behind me. Yeah, like I said, I don't know where it's going to take you, but I'm just almost certain it's going to take you to a better place. You know, use this time and this education as an opportunity, not just to better yourself or to give yourself a better future, but to, you know, find that direction, find that spark inside of you that, you know, that says this is me, this is the thing that's me. You know, because in school you got to just take what they offer and you got to kind of fit into the column that, you know, they've got a bunch of columns here and you just got to find the one that best fits you or the best you're able to deal with. And it's not really who we are, you know. We're not our jobs, we're not our education, we're not our diploma, you know. We're so much more than, you know, than these things that society puts upon us, these badges that we have to wear, these labels. You know, I hope that you can find your happy place, whatever that might be. For me, I would just hope that it's something that you can use who you are and what you know, and invest that in whatever kind of future that you are going to sculpt for yourself, or whatever kind of now that you're going to sculpt for yourself. What's up, Ollie? Are you just going to keep going back and forth? Do you want to go back to bed or what? I'm not going to eat that right now, so if that's what you're waiting for, you're going to have to wait longer. I know, it's there, but I just can't eat it yet. Look at these guys. Hi. I would hope that today, that you know, 2024, you know, that it would be easier for people to find themselves, you know, and then it will be easier for my daughter to recognize her place and her direction, right? Whereas there weren't a whole lot of options when I was young, you know. Information was hard to come by. Communication was cumbersome until cell phones came along. Let me put these guys away. Sam, you want to go to bed too, or you want to stay there? Yeah.
dogs, those silly dogs. I spend so much time being a doorman. I just want to put doggy doors on all the doors in the house, inside and out, and just let them rule their own friggin' world, you know. My goodness. And, you know, it's not so bad. It's exercise, getting up, moving around, doing stuff. The only bummer is that when you suffer with chronic pain, back and neck pain, leg, knees, feet, ankles, everything, getting up, back and forth, up and down, up and down, up and down, man, it grates on your nerves. Totally. Yep. Telling you, son, you're gonna drive me to drinking. Don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln. Hey. Pardon me. Oh, pardonnez-moi. Coffee burps. Actually, it's my body telling me that I need to eat something. But my head and pain are saying, ain't gonna happen, buddy. No way. Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen there, Bubber. No way, Bubber. Forget about it there, Bubber. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good old Forum. LA Forum, Inglewood Forum, the Kia Forum. It's gone through a few names, but it's still just the Forum. The LA Forum, if you will, but it's just the Forum. I still refer to it as the Inglewood Forum or the Forum. I don't know how much longer it's going to be there, actually. I would suspect that because it's so outdated. I mean, it was built there, what, in the 70s? I think it's probably, maybe even the 60s. It's so totally outdated that they just might build one of those new, like SoFi is right next to it. SoFi Stadium is like right next to it. And I think in that area there, they're going to build another Acrisure Arena, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that to have another, you know, not super stadium, but another, you know, technologically today stadium would probably be better. Now the bathrooms and everything, the layout of the Forum, it's really, really old school. It's like going to the Hollywood Bowl, right? I was amazed at how old school the Hollywood Bowl is still, and at how they've moderned it up, right? You can order your food before you even get to the stadium. Everything is so app oriented. It was really easy for my daughter to just say, okay, this, that, we need to do this, we need to do that. Here, let's swipe this and punch this, and you know, and we got our food and we're sitting down. But the Forum is still pretty old school. I think that one of the things that they're going to be working with in that area, the SoFi and the Forum and that new whatever arena, the Acrisure, I think it is they're going to have to deal with parking better, because they're still they still have these big open flat lots, right? They're just, you know, a square mile of asphalt, right? And I think that they're going to have to get into parking structures. I don't think they want to have tall things around, taking away from the beauty of the arenas themselves. But I mean,
they're going to have to do something, right? They're going to have to do something. Because parking is going to be the biggest issue, especially when that forum comes down and they put something with a larger capacity there. The forum isn't a huge capacity. I think it's like 13,000 or something, not much bigger than the Acrisure. Yeah, I mean, the SoFi is what, like 60 or something? 40. I mean, there's some of these arenas are high capacity. You know, I think at one point the Coliseum was at one level, and then they built it up like 60 to 80,000, right? Because they wanted to add on a whole bunch more. But yeah, the Coliseum. There's a place I've been to see a few shows. What did I see? One show I remember seeing there was the Monsters of Rock. And that was Scorpions and Van Halen and Metallica and Dokken and Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come. They were a Led Zeppelin type group. And that was a neat show. I think we saw, the Rolling Stones Steel Wheels tour there. I saw Metallica at the Rose Bowl up there in Pasadena. Yeah. There were a lot of as many shows as there were happening all over Southern California back then. It's like magnified on such a huge scale now. I mean, if you look at the map and Google, sports arenas and stadiums and that kind of crap, venues, there's just the map is just dotted, right? They're just like everywhere. And then you zoom in and those dots become more dots. It's just crazy. There's just so many venues nowadays. And there's more happening. There's more being built constantly. It's like the powers that be want us to be so distracted that, and we're completely distracted from everything. Everybody is always worried about some kind of fun that they want to have. Well, I earned it. I go to my slave job, 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, and I barely get overtime. I deserve to go out and have some fun once in a while and go to Vegas and blow all of that money that I earn. Or, go to 8 concerts a year, and just live wildly, right? Yeah, totally. So, gosh, my daughter's taking me to a concert where we have to get a room. Oh, it's at Caesars. Who is it? At Caesars. Crap. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not used to this much activity on a recreational level, right? Now, I used to be, the working guy, always thinking about some kind of job or project or something that was going on, right? And now I can't even wrap my head around the fact that not only have we gone to so many concerts in the last 18 months, but the idea that she has so many more concerts lined up for us in the near future. Our year of concerts is already planned out with like a concert every month or two, right? And I wish I could remember the one that we're going to Caesars. Dang it. But yeah, because Vegas is, like a 4-hour drive from here. We're going to be driving out there, checking into the room, and then walking down to the concert. So that's why we're doing Caesars, because the show is at Caesars. So we're going to get a room at Caesars and not have to travel, not have to bounce around, be able to get to Vegas and say, okay, now we're here, and we're here for at least 24 hours. And this is where we're at. We're in this room. Our car is parked and safe, and we can just walk down to the venue in the casino, watch the show, have our after concert dinner, find a little entertainment, or go back to the room, watch a movie, and then be able to have a nice, safe drive coming home after the concert the next day. Because normally I'll drive us 2.5 hours to LA to a show, and then we'll have the show, and then we'll drive to an In-N-Out and get our after show burgers, and then come home, and then we're home by 2:30, right? And then I'm up till the sun comes up, like now. And I'm cool with that. I can totally do that. I'm used to doing that. I did that when I was a teenager. That was my bag, baby. Driving to Vegas. We're literally going to have to drive out there early enough that we can check into the room by 3 and take a nap, and then walk down to the venue so that I can actually enjoy the show, right? I don't want to be completely dead on my feet, which is why I usually will take a nap until it's time to get in the car and go to the show, because I always look forward to 2 or 3 hours of driving in traffic and the stress of that, and then the loudness and the activity of the concert, and then boom, back in the car again, 80 miles an hour down the highway. It's rough on my body, but I enjoy the hell out of it, especially with my daughter and my wife and daughter. The last time we went was a blast. I've never eaten so much In-N-Out in my life over the last 1.5 years. I'm actually starting to get pretty burned out on it. It's a good thing there's no In-N-Out in town here. We have no In-N-Out within an hour of us. So, or the nearest is within an hour. But I started having it in different ways now. I used to, for years, I would have it a cheeseburger, animal style, cut in half. Now, if you don't know In-N-Out, animal style means that it has extra lettuce and tomato and grilled onions, and it's packed pretty high. And then you can ask for it to be cut in half, and they'll cut it in half and individually wrap the 2 halves and put them back into the slip. So they're easy to eat. Those big cheeseburgers, animal style, or the double animal style, are pretty hard to eat. So we get them cut in half. Lately, I've kind of been trying to switch it up. Have my lettuce and tomato on the side, or no pickles, or grilled onions only, and try to change things a little bit so it's not so much this. I think next time I'm going to go with no toasted bread and no lettuce, tomato, and pickle, and grilled onions. And isn't this weird? I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, and I'm talking about the next time I'm going to eat an In-N-Out cheeseburger. And like, it's totally going to be fantastic. And this time I think I'll have a chocolate malt and a Dr. Pepper. You know, they don't have Mr. Pibb anymore. I used to like Mr. Pibb. You know, Mr. Pibb. Where can I get a good Shasta Cola? That's what I need, a Shasta Cola. Or give me a Diet Right Cola. Okay, can I get a Diet Right Cola and my friend will have a tab? Okay, thank you. Oh my God, how can that guy just get on and just start talking? He's like talking about nothing. What the hell is a tab anyway? It's that little button on the keyboard that makes it slide in, indent. Is that what it is? Hello, Itchy. Want to get on camera here? There you go, little guy. I don't know if y'all can see him. So, oh my God, why does he have the camera like that? I can barely see his face. Well, that's the whole idea. I'm nothing to look at, all right? So don't worry about that. The idea of this is for you to see the room. The room is the real star here. I'm just the host. So if you get on and you're watching, you know, if you're watching live, well, then ask me about something here and we'll talk about it. Or if you want to post in the comment, well, then next show, I'll talk about it and then I'll let you know in the comments. I wish I could post pictures in my comments, but that's one thing that's a little weird here, is I cannot post a photo in my comments, at least not that I know of. Engage with your audience. So what do? Start a Q&A, start a poll. I don't know how that works. I'll try it sometime when I have an actual audience. All right. Like I said, this isn't so much for you all at this point as it is for me. I didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know that I could turn my camera on and start talking and find things, relevant things to talk about. Maybe it's just the coffee. Maybe it's the fact that I'm a chatterbox naturally, and usually with myself or anyone that will listen. My daughter's a good listener. She likes to, I don't know, I won't say that she likes, but she definitely listens and pays attention to what I'm saying and actually has, questions. And she's always questioning my legitimacy as to what I'm doing and what I'm saying. You know, is that real? Is that fact? Or you're just blowing shit out your ass again? You see my belly button? Don't look at my belly button. Oh, Walt Disney would not like that. No. Okay, so here's one of those Disney urban legends, right? Is that when he first hired Annette Funicello for Disney and the Mickey Mouse Club, it's my understanding from what I learned in my life. I'm not going to say that, I got this information from this database, and that's because that's not. Most of the shit that's in my head is just shit that I've picked up over the decades. So I'm not going to, give you citations on where I found this shit. All right. But it's my understanding that when Walt Disney hired Annette Funicello, he made her promise that as long as she was in the spotlight, as long as she was on TV or film, that she would never reveal her navel, her belly button. And yes, I know. Well, she wore a lot of bikinis. How could you say that? Well, if you go back and look at those beach blanket bingo movies and all of those bikini wearing movies, she wore a high, either a one piece or her bottom was so high that it covered her navel. I kid you not. I wondered if she was an alien or something. Did she even have a belly button? Right? So go back and look and tell me if I'm wrong. Let me know. All right. Did Annette Funicello have a belly button? Or was she hatched from an egg? Walt Disney knows. He knew. He still knows. That information's still in his head, and he's frozen somewhere, right? He's cryogenically frozen somewhere so that he can be revived in the future and be zombie Disney. Wouldn't that be awesome? I would love to be frozen and resuscitated in some kind of future that is completely removed from now, right? Because I would be the same guy then. I would be an historian. I would be a guy looking for old artifacts, cataloging past events and past items. That would be me. I would be a curator of my own past, right? My own history. Which pretty much is what this whole room is. This whole room here is a collection of things from my past, either my past experiences or just things that were of my time period, right? And that's probably a side effect of being human, is having this need to be connected to one's history, one's past. Or, I mean, it's got to be genetic, right? That we all have this need to go backward into our own past and history. Now, what's that all about? Is it because of our own mortality? Is it because we don't live forever? Is it because we're generational? In our family, my sister would be the youngest. From my, everything before we started our own families, right? My sister, of course, is the youngest, but who's still alive. But the oldest person who is still alive from before we started our own families. My gosh, my aunt, my father's sister, and there were 3 of them, and she's the only survivor. My mother, on her side, she has 2 sisters and a brother. The brother is gone. Her parents are gone. Out of her 2 sisters, I don't know if either of them are still. I think one of them is still around. My Aunt Llewellyn. For the life of me, I can't remember her other sister's name. I'm sure I have family members out there who know. I'm not that kind of guy, I don't keep track of who lives and who dies. I don't keep track of who I'm related to, because it's never really held anything forming that I'm related to this person, that person, and this person, because those people have never really been a part of who I am or my life or any of that, right? They show up once in a while, and they're a part of my life, and then they're gone, and it happens so rarely and so briefly that you know, most of the family that I have on my side, not my wife's side, but my side, I don't really know any of these people, you know, and, you know, sure, I haven't gone out of my way to get to know anybody really, but neither has anyone else. You know, it's a two-way street there. You know, oh, he never calls me. Well, you never call me either, right? And that's the way it is with people. You know, they do things or don't do things, and then they point their finger in the other direction and say, "Well, it's your fault." You know, and sure, you know, I'll take the blame. You know, not that I ever know where anyone is. You know, I mean, I went through decades of my life knowing that I had family out there, but also knowing that, yeah, you know, what's the point? They really don't get me, and they really don't give a shit anyway. So, you know, what's the point? And it's been like that with most of my family, most of my life, you know, right down to my brothers and sisters. I mean, we are not the closest people. And that's unfortunate, you know. I'm the kind of guy that will, rather than keep tormenting myself with somebody in my life, I'll just say, you know what, I'm done with you, goodbye. And then just shun them, just exile them from my life, because you know, what's the point? You know, when all you're going to do is cause me misery, you know, or blame me for your own bullshit, you know, or, you know, yeah, I mean, what's the point anyway, right? And, you know, unfortunately, you know, this has happened a couple of times in my life, you know, with all of my family, you know, where I've had to just walk away and say, you know what, it's just, you guys in my life is not worth the mental and emotional toll that it takes on me, right? It's not worth it. There's not enough, you know, there's not enough give and take back and forth to make any of this worth the time, right? And we've probably all got at least one family member like that where you're just like, oh, fuck them, you know. And I was never like, fuck them. I was just like, you know what, no, this guy got to come first, you know. And you've already proven that, you know, time and again, that that you're going to go first in your own life, and that, you know, you do what you got to do, but then don't take it out on me, you know. But I digress. You know, family is a fickle thing, or at least it can be. It totally can be, you know, unless you dictate what your family is and how your family. I'm not like that, you know. Yeah, I've probably got to have one of the weirdest households around. I mean, my dogs alone prove that they are just weird ass creatures. You only get to see them in the morning, so you only get to see the lethargic side of them. But these dogs, they are some weird creatures. Mainly because I let them be themselves. I don't try to, just like I don't dictate my daughter and wife how to live. Own creatures, you know, they're their own beings, they're their own entities. Same thing with the dogs, you know. The dogs have a few rules, you know, but for the most part, they're very, very happy because they can do whatever the hell they want. As long as they don't chew shit up and get in trouble and pee or poo in the house. I mean, it's pretty basic, you know. I don't try to human my dogs up by teaching them all kinds of, you know, cute animal tricks. You know, that's not my thing. You know, I don't want some, I don't want 4 little clones, Yeah. I want 4 unique beings, and that's what they are. That's totally what they are. Yeah. Oh, don't look. Stop it. Oh. So this is Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. This is the show. If you want to sit and have coffee, or bong hits or not, just sit and watch and go, oh my God, this dude is a freak. Or if you want to have some engaging conversation, hit me up. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Just the fact that I can get on here and vent about my own personal experiences in life, talk about my past, talk about things that are happening in the now. For me, that's pretty awesome. I see a lot of very different uses of YouTube out there, and I see a lot of similarities. I see a lot of the same old thing. But I hope that with my channel and my videos and my live broadcasts, I can just bring something a little different. It's not always going to be this subdued. It's not always going to be this bland or this, redundant, pointless. But you're just going to have to follow along and see what happens. So my flag back here, I created the flagpole from I think it's an 1.25 inch dowel, just regular pine, I think. But I took it and I stained it and sealed it up really good so that it wouldn't bow, because those dowels, a little humidity in those things just start dancing. And then the top, the gold eagle at the top of the flag. I know you can see that, unless you're on a little tiny phone screen. Put me on TV, man. It's more fun. Or on your computer. But that's that there. I got that from eBay. I don't remember who, but it's just a plastic die cast molded eagle with a brass gold finish on it. So it's really, really lightweight. It came with a threaded nib on the bottom, so I just drilled a hole into the top of my dowel and dropped it in there. I have another one if somebody would like it, talk to me in the comments and I'll put you in for a drawing. There's probably not going to be too many people in my first drawing, but my idea for the drawing is enter the drawing, win the drawing, and then I will get with you personally to kind of personally curate some kind of little package for you from all of the crap that I have. And that little flag top up there is pretty cool. Now, the flag itself is a 1960s Boy Scout practice flag that was used primarily for practicing the folding of the American flag with the Boy Scouts. But it is a really, really cool old school flag. It is really thick cotton canvas, hand stitched. Well, no, I wouldn't say it's hand stitched, but it's not that really flimsy polyester crappy flag that they sell at Walmart. It's not that cheap crap. Those stars are hand embroidered stars, okay? They have weight and depth and texture to them. Those stripes are individual stripes stitched together, not screen printed stripes, not woven polyester on a freaking thing. That's not this. This is a real old school American flag. And I got that because that's what we would have had at school. We would have had something real, not the fake, consumer capitalists flag, which is what the other, sure you can have one because I'm an American, but I mean, that's just dogma. That's just propaganda. I wanted something that had some meaning, more than the usual rhetoric, right? But yeah, my big RCA television over there. I built that into the cabinet because I wanted an old tube TV in that old cabinet. Groucho is still crooked. I'll have to straighten him up. I've got some wildlife books over here. And there are those books that take you to different areas, different regions, the Everglades and the Sierra Nevadas and that kind of stuff. So those are neat. And then I've got my encyclopedias right here, along here, some old school 1980s encyclopedias, 80s or 90s. I know it's got pretty much all the information from the 80s. Does my whole house look like this? No. Not by a long shot. My house is a hovel. It's a shack. It's a shanty. It's a beat up mobile home. Mainly because I'm poor. But I'm a happy poor. I mean, if we're talking money, then yeah, I'm dirt poor. Does it bother me? No, hell no. No, I've been dirt poor most of my life. Have I ever wanted to be rich? Oh, hell yeah. Do I want to have a lot of money? Yeah, sure. But I've been successful in my career, if you want to call it that. In careering, I have been successful. It turned out not to be my thing. I'm just not that kind of competitive. You really have to be able to turn off your emotions and shit on people in order to get ahead in most directions in life, right? And while I have had to do that and be an asshole and controlling prick, I never liked it, and it really took its toll on me. I mean, doing that race, rush, I'm your boss and you have to kind of guy, You know, that's what drove me to that, and, you know, loss. That's what drove me to antacids and antidepressants, you know, because I was always worried about something else and someone else and stuff going on. And, you know, while I was really good at it, it really took its toll on my being, on my soul, you know. And I walked away from so many careers because it began to hurt inside, you know, having to do these things day to day to day to day. And it was just killing me. It would just kill me. And I would have to literally be in a career where I thought, okay, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life because this is the best thing in the world. And then a year and a half later, I'm off on another career adventure because I can't keep doing that anymore. I just cannot. And then I got used to the fact, well, okay, I have to keep doing different stuff because if I don't, I'm going to just die, stagnate. And I think that's what I fell in love with, painting, house painting, and handyman construction work, because it was always something different. Every day, I was doing something usually completely different from the day before, right? And I loved the day-to-day change, right? That was awesome. The longer jobs that I would have where I was working on something for a month or two, remodeling, or, you know, a longer job, that would start to get tedious. That would start to just wear on me. And then those kind of things would make me long for a career change. But I don't have any aspects of careering ever again. I don't want to get into a new rat race. You know, whatever I would decide to do, I would need to then accompany that with training or some kind of education in order to get my most out of it. Right. I would have to really dive into it and put my all into it. You know, like when I was running a handyman business or a venue vending business, you know, or whatever else I would get myself into. You know, I would just have to throw my all into it. And maybe that's why I would get so burned out so quickly, a year and a half into something, and I'm just ready to move on, you know. And this YouTube thing has been around for more than that, but I've intentionally kept myself from getting too into it, getting too this right now. I'm really into it with this morning show video log thing. But it's not one of those things that I feel like I'm getting burned out on because it's so therapeutic. So while it may or may not go on for a long period of time, season 1 of this show may be the only season. This season 1 might be 50 episodes or 150 episodes or 800 episodes. Maybe there'll only be a season 1, but maybe it'll just be, you know, all of it. I don't know. How do I divide up seasons? Monthly, annually, biannually? I don't know. Maybe we'll just go with one season that lasts as long as this does. You know, that sounds good. I'm going to expect that this is going to last as long as it needs to last as it is. I expect it to change and evolve organically, like I do. That's the third time I've used that word, organic.
Fourth.
But you know, I mean, it serves its own purpose, right? This is what it is because this is what it is. You know, is that existentialism? I don't know. And like I've said before, look at my lava lamp as a big intestinal tract now. Oh, and it's got movement. Oh, right. Yeah. That is very cool. But and then I lose my train of thought because of my lava lamp. But yeah, the you know, it is what it is because it is. And you can't really explain it more than that. You know, who knows what it's going to turn into, you know, or become or evolve, or, you know, what kind of metamorphosis will this undergo? You know? I keep having deja vu about this whole situation, you know, and maybe I'm destined to do this. You know, maybe I was always destined to sit here and try to connect with the world, you know, and you can stop by and you can make your little, oh, it's a probosm. You can, you know, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't really care. You know, stop by and make your, you know, your uninformed comment. Now, Mike in the garage, he just up there in Canada, he just comes by, hangs out, stops, you know, says that he's hanging out, and he hangs out for a little while. And that is so cool. And I really want people to feel comfortable about just turning me on and just hang out with me. And, you know, if you got something to say, hit me up, you know, because that's what this is. That's what this is. It's as much for me as it is for you, as much for you as it is for me. Let's have some kind of, you know, I'm not a traveling man. I'm never going to make it out into the world heavily. But through this, I can reach a lot of people to just say, hi, who are you? I'm me, you know, and if that's a promosm, okay, I don't see myself as promoting any one thing, right? I mean, this is me, this is my life, these are the things that I do, this is the stuff that I drink. Coffee right now, I'm drinking some kind of Starbucks coffee in a bag. You know, I drink those naturally baked, I eat those naturally baked cereal bars, smoke weed from Big Tree delivered by Green Pearl Organics, GPO. So if this is a commercial for anything, it's a commercial about my life and the things that I do in my life. And I'm not promoting any one thing or saying, well, you have to do this. I'm just saying, hey, I like this. This is what I do. You know, if you're into it, you know, give it a shot. Otherwise, you know, you don't got to do anything, you know, hang out, watch me go through my weird motions and talk about my weird shit. Sometimes I'll repeat myself over and over because I'm an old fart, and that's what we old farts do. But for the most part, I just want to engage y'all and get you to come on over to my place and hang out and have a conversation. That's pretty much it, you know. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much. I'm going to heat this up one more time because I think if I heat it up one, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to actually warm it up with some more coffee.
Okay, Sam, you're on. You want to get covered up, boy? You want to go to bed? There you go, boy. There you go, buddy. Shy guy. All right. So if there's a song out there that's pretty basic, because I'm a basic guy, right? If there's a pretty basic song out there that you think that I might be into strumming on my guitar, hit me up and throw a comment. Let me know what you think. I've got a little notebook here of songs that I've been kind of collecting and practicing. And I kind of go in waves where I kind of get into something and then I kind of lay off it for a while. I get back into it and then kind of lay off it, and then get back into it and then lay off it. So yeah. So every once in a while I feel like I've got one pretty good, and I'll give it a shot at recording and throw it on YouTube for the hell of it. Because I'm not shy. I mean, and you know, I know I'm not that talented, and it doesn't really embarrass me anymore to get on and say, "Look at me, I'm singing my song, la 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 la." It's kind of fun, and it is therapeutic, you know. And because I'm a creative introvert, you know, I can't just feel comfortable going to an open mic night and getting up on stage and strumming it out. Now, a lot of people can do that, even though I've done that in the past, and I've been on stage and I've the guitar and the singing and the drums and all that. It's been fun, but it's nerve-wracking, and it just really throws me down into a huge depression afterwards. So I try to avoid that kind of stuff. Now this does not throw me into a depression. This kind of keeps me motivated, right? And that's a huge improvement from, you know, being so happy and having so much fun, then all of a sudden you crash. And emotionally, that's how it is. It's a roller coaster. Anytime you have a real good high, it's going to be followed by a low that's just as intense, right? So for the most part, I try to avoid highs. And if I am going to have a high, like going to a concert, I have to literally stay calm and stay relaxed and detached almost, so that it's more like, yeah, this is awesome, this is cool. Not like, yeah, I can't get there. Because then, you know, if I'm up here from the neutral, then I'm going to be as far down from the neutral, and I can't handle the up and down anymore. So I try to even things out myself, you know, smoke a little weed to keep myself from, you know, spazzing out about something. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, and that still happens, you know. I have a lot of oh my God moments, you know, especially because of my wife and daughter, you know.
And I have to just kind of be cool. That's like, you know, I got to be the Fonz. I got to be Hyde. You know, I got to be cool. You know, it's cool. It's cool. You know, I try not to give anything away, because if I do, I'm giving it away to myself. And then all of a sudden I know, man, I'm having too much fun. And then I'm going to crash. I'm going to crash and burn. And I don't want to do that. I'm sick of that. And this helps keep me on an even keel, right? And I like that. Hot coffee. So, you know, hooray to my own brand of therapies, right? What I need now is to get back to a physical therapy, right? Because I have my mental and emotional therapy with this and the music. I need to get back to a physical, ongoing thing, because right now I'm pretty stagnant. If I'm not doing a little bit of work, then I pretty much won't leave the house, won't go out and do anything, and it's from here to my bed, and that's about as far as I make it anywhere, you know. And that's just a side effect of my own depressive personality, but I have to avoid confrontation with my emotions and my my stability, right? So yeah, I try to keep things pretty mellow, and then even when we go out, because I have to be the primary driver when we go out, because I'm just that guy, I got to try to keep everything on an even keel there, because, you know, driving is just such a chore when you're surrounded by morons, you know. So yeah, I try to really avoid being myself when I'm behind the wheel. I try to stay detached from, emotionally detached from everything outside the car. You know, if something bugs me, like I said before, I don't hold on to emotions anymore, and things that bug me. If it bugs me, I'm gonna let it out. That son of a bitch, and then it's gone. You know, if you fuck with me personally, I'm gonna let you know. I'll tell you to your face that you're a fucking asshole. You know, but at the same time, after that, I'm done with it. I don't have to worry about that emotion coming back to haunt me in the middle of the night, or having that jerk's face keep popping up in my head all the time, because I don't hold on to the emotion behind all of that shit anymore. You know, if I feel something, I allow myself to feel it, to live it in the moment, and then I can let it be gone. You know, and it's like, nowadays in society, we're taught that we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to show any negative emotion that might adversely impact the positive emotions of anyone else, right? So you can't just stand there and scream how pissed off you are without getting tackled by police and handcuffed, because you may or may not have decided to be violent, or, you know. And even if you're just standing there screaming at the world that you're pissed off, you know, you could get, you know, arrested for just having emotions, you know, because they are afraid of where your emotions might lead you, right? And that is one fucked up world to live in. And that's one thing that I hate. I just am disgusted with about the world and society, is that we put such a premium on honesty, right? But when it's time to be honest, everybody lies their ass off, you know, and then you try to be honest and have honest emotions, and you're shut down, you know. You're locked up and thrown into a fucking booby hatch or into a jail because, you know, you decided to express your emotions. You didn't hurt anybody. All you did was shake your fists in anger, you know, and they tase you and cuff you and haul you off, you know. And I watch Cops. I see it all the time. You know, of course, they don't show us the first couple of seasons, the first decade or so of Cops, because they don't want us to see, you know, and this is just my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger, right? This is just my kooky imaginings, but it's my thinking that, you know, pre 2001, you know, more people knew their rights, you know, and so to show a lot of stuff before then where people are actually people actually know their rights, because I think nowadays people don't. I mean, we see these cop shows on TV where the cops are so overbearing in dealing with people that they totally dismiss their rights, like, you know, they don't have any, we can do whatever we want, you know, shut up, you got no rights. And I've heard that exact phrase, shut up, you got no rights, from on that show Blue Bloods, you know, that Donnie Wahlberg said that, pushed some guy up against a wall and told him, you got no fucking rights. And it was like, it's shows like that teach people the wrong lesson. You know, there used to be shows on TV where you'd watch the show and you would think, wow, really? No, they can't do that to us. You know, we've got rights. And now, you know, it's like our rights have changed. Our constitutional rights have been altered to fit these times for a specific reason. I'm not going to say to what that is. I'm not going to theorize on any of that weird bullshit. I just know there's something hinky going on. There's something wonky in the world. So, yeah, totally. Coffee. You ever have those days where no matter how much coffee you drink, you just can't get it together? This is one of those days. You probably can't see my eyes, but then even if you could, you probably couldn't, because they're barely open. I mean, they're like slits. You couldn't fit dimes in these slots, right? You could blindfold me with dental floss. Orale, así. But yeah, totally. What a world, what a world. What are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? I mean, I can't even comment on what's going on out in the world today. You know, I got a text, one of those computerized robot texts, from asking me if I was going to vote for so-and-so. And it was like, I was just so disgusted. Because I don't think we get offered anything worth voting for, really. I mean, sure, if you're a corporation, then yeah, you're gonna want one side or the other. But if you're a citizen, I mean, give me a break. Is this the best we got? You know, corporate puppets. You know,
it's just a sad state of affairs in government right now. Politics, everything is just so out of fucking whack. I avoid watching any kind of news, local or world news, like the freaking plague. Literally, if I'm going to watch something, it's literally going to be for a minute, and then it's like, oh God, are you kidding me? What kind of bullshit are they trying to pull now? And that's with everybody, even the commercials. I mean, it's like I'll watch a commercial and go, oh my God, what kind of bullshit are they trying to pull now? You know, are real people really going to eat that? Do people really drink that shit? They're not going to drive that. Come on, it looks like the same fucking thing everybody else is driving, and they're going to call it new. Ugh. Didn't work. I was trying to sneeze. Didn't work. I mean, really, you look out into the world and you see there's like no imagination anywhere, but everything is supposed to be new and improved and unique and different, and it's all the fun. You know, they're out there trying to sell this car, and you know that this model car that they're trying to tout as being new and different is built on the same unibody chassis that 8 other models from other car companies are built on. You know it, because that's the way it is. Everything along, you know, the river there in Detroit is all connected. The whole auto organization, the whole idea of it's all connected, everything. You know, they get together, and then I thought, okay, well, we're going to create this car, and we want it to look like this. And how are we going to? Well, let's use that they already make over here for that model, and let's use this motor from that model, and we'll use these doors, and then they just jump together this car, and here's this new car. You know, I mean, look at the Land Rover Defender and the new Ford Bronco. It's the same fucking car, right? It's the same thing. There's just different things added onto it, and it may or may not have a different motor and a few different things here and a different interior, but it's the same frame. It's the same unibody. It's the same top. You know, it might be stamped a little differently with a slightly different wiggle to the profile. The curves might be a little different, but it's the same fucking thing, you know? I mean, if you take a skunk and you paint the white stripe black and call it a cat, but it's still a fucking skunk, right? And it's just, you know, it's still Pepe Le Pew. And that's all it is, man. Like these stupid new TVs nowadays. Well, they're cheap because they're pieces of shit, you know? They work when they want to work. You know, the apps are always fucked up. You know, it freezes and glitches when you're trying to watch a game or something important, or just the app just decides to fail and reboot the whole TV 2 or 3 times before it actually catches, you know. And these are different TVs. I mean, I've used a lot of TVs, and most of the TVs nowadays have a short shelf life, and they're just shit. You know, give me a good old tube TV and a freaking VCR, you know, and I'm happy. We need video stores, right? Those need to come back. Fuck that Redbox shit. You know, I want to go get a Betamax or a VHS, maybe a DVD, but I mean, streaming is okay. I like the ease at which I can find vintage material to watch, right? Whether it's on YouTube or Prime or not so much on Netflix, Roku, Freevee. You know, these places are great to stream old shit. And that's where it's at for me. Because the new stuff that's going on TVs and movies, I've just had it. I've just freaking had it. Yeah, so at any point, my wife might decide to wake up and start stirring. So you may start hearing other noises, and you'll hear me say, "I'm on camera live, dear." So she won't, do anything to embarrass herself, I guess. Yeah, which I'm going to probably be heading off here within the next 20 minutes or so anyway, regardless. I think 3 hours is about my limit. And then I should probably start tuning in on something else to do. Yeah, you get a chance, watch some of that vintage TV stuff that's going around. Because it's most of it's free to stream. You just have to put up with the same commercials popping up every few minutes, which isn't so bad, because when the commercials are different, you're like totally distracted and you just want to hit mute, and then the program comes back and then you miss a few seconds or whatever. But when the commercials are the same every time, I don't have to hit mute. I can start tuning them out. It's like, oh, it's that one. And then I can just kind of go about my business until the show comes back. So I like while I was a little with the idea of streaming and commercials and paying for an app that's going to give you commercials, it's way better than commercial television. I cannot stand the 4 minutes of movie and the 6 minutes of commercials, or vice versa. It's unbearable when you just start getting into something and it's 5 minutes commercials, and then it's like you're falling asleep, and then it comes back on and you just get into it and then back to commercials. And it's not like that with the streaming stuff. Even if there is free to watch with commercials, I prefer that. I really do. Will I switch to a lower cost Netflix, and so that, if I allow them to give me commercials? No, because Netflix has very little that I would want to watch with. They don't have any retro stuff. I mean, the only stuff that I watch with Netflix is stuff that I would not want to be interrupted at all with commercials, whether it would be something like one of their new shows like Stranger Things, or one of their new movies, or an old movie. They're not so much old movies I don't do. Netflix isn't. It used to have a lot of old movies. Now they're trying to be hip and new and trendy, and that's kind of a bummer. I liked it when they had more stuff from 80s and 70s and pre-70s stuff. They don't do that much anymore. You get, every once in a while they'll have blocks of stuff from the 90s or 80s or 70s, but it's the usual stuff. It's the standard, crap that you've seen over and over and over again. I like YouTube and Roku and Prime because they're constantly reaching back into stuff that is really obscure and doesn't get passed around much, and that's cool. I like old and vintage and retro, but I also like to see stuff that's new, old vintage stuff that I haven't seen before. And
Yeah, you can get a lot of that with Roku and Prime and that kind of stuff. So down the hatch. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, while I had planned to do some Willie Nelson stuff this week, I've just been kind of, like I said, avoiding my depressive tendencies. So rather than get overwhelmed by something and then let it bring me down, I've just kind of tried to kind of keep bopping around from different thing to different thing, looking for new music to listen to or to play, looking for new things to read, going back and playing old video games because they're like comfort food for the brain. And it helps me to kind of step out of myself playing video games and stuff. Because they're like no-brainer. They're like mind-numbing, time-killing type things. And while I'm not a big fan of time-killing this late in life, there are some times when I just need to shut everything else off. And playing a stupid video game or watching a stupid movie can really help, take me out of that, take me out of myself. One of the things I use to deal with insomnia is train my brain to react to certain movies like sleeping pills, right? And it's not that the movies put me to sleep. It's not that the movies are so boring. It's like, oh my God, 2 seconds and I'm like asleep. All right, it's not like that. Some of these movies are really good movies and some of them are favorites, right? But what I'll do is I will put the movie on every night at bedtime. And then I will fast forward the movie to a specific point early on in the movie, past the credits, past the opening credits, 5 or 10 minutes into the movie. And then I'll put the movie on and I'll lay down and I'll close my eyes and I'll listen to the movie. And I will use these movies literally like sleeping pills. Sometimes if I want, I can just easily sit up and watch the entire movie or watch the movie for 20 minutes and then decide, okay, here's where I'm going to go to sleep, and then roll over, close my eyes, and I'm out. It's like when normal people crawl into bed at night and they turn off the light, they roll over, they close their eyes, and they're out. It's like that. That's what my sleeping pill movie does for me. And over the last 3 decades, over the last 3 decades that I've been using the sleeping pill movie method, I've probably only used no more than 24 movies over the last 30 years. Okay. One of the first was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Volunteers, Tom Hanks, Spies Like Us, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd. Those were some of the early ones back in the 90s. Movies like Independence Day with Will Smith, Lethal Weapon. There's been, just a bunch of movies that I really, really enjoy watching, and at any given time can just decide, well, I'm going to stay awake and watch the whole movie. And it's not that the movies are boring. They're just, they're good, and that's why I use them. I like them, and that's why I use them as sleeping pill movies, so that I can train my brain to go say night night, okay. And then I'll set the timer on the TV so that before that movie is over, the TV will go off. Because if I hear the end credits and the end music, and if it's like on Netflix or something, the preview for the next thing, it'll usually prompt me to wake up. So the key is to have it timed so that the TV goes off before the movie is over, right? And then I'm out until I gotta get up and take a leak. And then if the TV is still on when I get up to take my first whiz, sometimes I'll pop on another sleeping pill movie, the backup sleeping pill movie, you know, and put that one on and hit the timer on the TV if I forgot to hit the timer the first time. And this might go on, you know, for an hour at bedtime, or it might go on all night long, right? Wake up every couple of hours, take a whiz, switch another movie, and go back to sleep. It has gone on sometimes until the sun has come up. I don't get much sleep anyway. So having something that helps keep me asleep, the fan, the air conditioner, a movie, something going, it's just the way it is. My latest for the past few years, back when it was on, when I had it on DVD, I still have it on DVD, back when I used to watch it on DVD, and now on Netflix, it's one of my favorite sleeping pill movies. And it is the Bee Movie. Sorry, pardon me. The Bee Movie with Jerry Seinfeld, Matthew Broderick, Renee Zellweger, animated movie. And it is literally, I mean, I will fast forward that thing right up until yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow. Ooh, black and yellow. Yeah, let's shit things up a bit. And from then on, it's like I can literally decide, okay, I'm going to be asleep before this happens, or I'm going to be asleep before this happens, or I'm going to stay awake and watch it because I'm not really ready to close my eyes yet. And then it's like, okay, I can go to bed now, and I'm just out. Lately, I rely on Netflix for my sleeping pill movies because they're commercial free. It's one of the only apps that we have where I can watch a good movie commercial free, aside from like Prime. But most of that stuff I actually want to stay awake and watch. But the movies I use as sleeping pill movies are movies that I have seen countless times because they're my favorites. Right now, I've got a few in my list to watch, and I'll switch them up. Usually it's the Bee Movie every night to help me to go to sleep. Once in a while, I'll change things up, and I'll do like R.I.P.D. with Ryan Reynolds and yeah. Anyway, so that's one of my. It's not a favorite movie. I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds per se, really, not really much at all. But it's a funny, fun, kind of weird movie. And while he does do the Ryan Reynolds thing a lot in that movie, it's not so off-putting like in other movies where he just is so much into doing that Ryan Reynolds thing that has made him the Ryan Reynolds that he is. Yeah, for me, it just says no acting skill when all of your characters are you, right? And you're always the same smarmy, smart mouth, kind of wise guy. That just doesn't work for me, you know, in any character all the time, and not in any character some of the time or even occasionally anymore, because there are actors out there who that's all they do, that's all they are, and Ryan Reynolds is one of them, you know. Yeah, I can't go there. But that one movie is okay. I tried to do the sequel. I couldn't really understand the whole sequel thing, right? Couldn't really do that. But yeah, I like to grab onto a movie and something I've got on DVD or tape that I can pop it on was usually the way I went, you know. It's just been recently, the last 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years, that I've been relying upon Netflix or a streaming channel to provide my sleeping pill movie. So they change depending on what they're carrying that month or that season. I imagine that they keep the B movie around because I play it so often. It's like, God, that movie's really popular. You know, it's like one of those kids who has to play it 8 times a day. Mommy, put on Barney. Yeah, I'm kind of like that with some movies. I have so many movies on DVD and VHS because I'm kid-like in that way that I have to put a movie on. It's like, oh, I need to watch this movie, you know, again. It's like, well, yeah, I got to. I just got to. It's like, you know, once or twice, once every year or two, I have to watch like Jaws, right? Because it takes me back to a time in my life when I saw the movie, or the Planet of the Apes, or Logan's Run, you know, or, you know, so many of those movies, you know, Meatballs, you know, Escape from New York, Caveman, you know, these are movies that I watched at a time in my life, either once or repetitively, that when I watch them now, they take me back to that place and they give me a little piece of that past. They help me to time travel within my own head, you know. And so I keep a lot of that around, whether they're records or videotapes or, you know, whatever else, you know, as stimuli to get that time machine traveling. You know, that's what powers my time machine. You know, are bits and pieces of the past. You know, and I just like stack these bits and pieces of the past up around me, like building a time machine around me. You know, and that's how it works. And that's how it works. And if I get enough stimulus, if I get enough around me, right, and I have the right lighting and the right atmosphere, the right sounds, the right smells, then I can actually put myself for a brief glimpse of a second, I can put myself back in the past, back in a time, in a place, with someone, you know, doing something. It's happened where I've been at home setting myself up to time travel and then have had to go out into the world for something, for some reason, and decided, you know, okay, you drive because I'm time traveling right now and I'm trying to be somewhere else. And I've actually gone out into the world and have had the past just kind of wash through me, right? You know, where you've got to kind of like grab yourself and go, man, did you feel that? Did you see that? You know, because it comes in such a huge, overwhelming, you know, intensity, you know, where you flash on something so greatly that it just takes over, you know, and for a brief instant, you're back there and you're feeling it everywhere. You smell it, you hear it, you taste it, you know. And I know this sounds really weird, but that's just the way it is, man. And then, so we're going to do this here. And then we're going to be getting ready to take off for the day. So I think 3 hours is probably enough time for you guys to get to know me. Even if you just stop by and watch one whole episode, you should be able to get to know me pretty well to decide whether you want to come back or not, right? And if it's just a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, you're not going to really get it, unless you're like Mike in the garage, who gets it. You know, he comes back by, he hangs out for 20, 30 minutes in the morning when he's doing his thing, and then he's off doing the rest of his day. And I really appreciate that. And if you can come by, hang out for long enough, 20, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, and kind of see what's going on, you know, listen to a story, give a little back and forth. Maybe you can find that maybe this is a place you want to come hang out once in a while, you know. But yeah, it's all about the past. And I'm just a blast from the past. And you know what? I wish I had asked Mike earlier while he was here. But what's the deal with marijuana up in Canada? What's up there in Canada, eh? So I don't, you know, I don't, like I say, I don't travel. I don't watch the news. I don't get out into the world and pay attention to what's going on. My wife and family and friends do that stuff. And if I need to know about something, I'm sure somebody will tell me on social media or somewhere. But I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff in other parts of the world. So, you know, what's up with marijuana up there in Canada? What do you guys do up there? It's illegal? It's illegal? Can you grow it? Do you have to buy it? Are there places to buy it? I don't know. Let me know. Well, I guess it's about time to bid you farewell and adieu. I have got to get rolling. Not really, but I will call it quits at 3 hours. And yeah, so let me know what you guys are up to. I think I'm going to leave it open for next week. So, you know, stop by, leave a comment. I'll try to post some links in the comments to different things, so you've got something to do when you stop by. Adios, weirdos. Have a good day.